بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين على أمور الدنيا والدين وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending peace and salutations upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we continue our lesson in the book Safinatun Naja. We're in the chapter of Salah, and we've talked about the main aspects to do with Salah in terms of its conditions, its pillars, and the things that break it. So now we're going to go into some of the things that are connected to Salah, that are mentioned in the books of Fiqh in the chapter of Salah, but are not the things that are not, they don't happen regularly, meaning they don't happen in your 5 daily prayers. But before that, we left out a chapter from the chapters that were to do with how to follow someone, and the conditions of being an Imam. And we went through that last week. But we had one chapter left that we didn't get time to finish. So faslun fi suwaril qudwati. This chapter is talking about the different types of following. Okay? What does that mean? It means the different types, the different ways you can follow someone. Okay? So it says suwarul qudwati tis'un. The types of following are, the situations of following are 6. Tasihhu fi khamsin is correct in 5, and that leaves, obviously, it's incorrect in 4. Okay? It's incorrect in 4. The first one, it says tasihhu fi khamsin, so it's correct in 5. In which 5 situations is it correct for you to follow someone? It says qudwati rajulin bi rajulin. So if a man is leading a man, that's correct. Wa qudwati imra'atin bi rajulin. And if a woman is being led by a man, so if the man is leading a woman, that is also correct. Wa qudwati khuntha bi rajulin. And the intersex, so the one that has both male and female private parts, that person being led by a man is also correct. They should be led by a man. وَقُدْوَةِ امْرَأَةٍ بِخُنْثَى. And the woman being led by the intersex, the hermaphrodite, is also correct. وَقُدْوَةِ امْرَأَةٍ بِامْرَأَةٍ. And the following of a woman by a woman. So a woman is leading another woman, that's also correct. In these 5 situations, the salah is correct. Okay? The salah in jama'ah is correct. Meaning that a man, to summarize, a man can lead anyone, whether that's woman or intersex, a man can lead anyone. A woman can only lead other women. And thirdly, an intersex can lead only women. And then it says وَتَبْطُلُ فِي أَرْبَعِينَ, and it breaks in 4, meaning the salah doesn't count if you have one of these 4 situations. قُدْوَةِ رَجُلٍ بِامْرَأَةٍ, if a woman is leading a man in salah. وَقُدْوَةُ رَجُلٍ بِخُنْثَى, if a man is being led by an intersex, that is incorrect. وَقُدْوَةِ خُنْثَى بِامْرَأَةٍ, and if an intersex is being led by a woman, so if a woman is leading an intersex. وَقُدْوَةِ خُنْثَى بِخُنْثَى, and an intersex is leading another intersex, they can't lead each other by themselves. So that concludes the salah, the part of the book where we're talking about the salah of jama'ah, the salah in congregation. So we just went through what types of congregation are correct, okay, and which aren't. So there are 9 different types of situations. In 5 of the situations it's correct. In 4 of the situations it's incorrect. So now, and this is going to take up most of our lesson, is we're going to talk about the salah of when you're either combining or shortening salah. when do you combine and when do you shorten salah? The Shaykh, the way he explains it, he says that the shortening is of two types. The combining of salah is of two types. The combining of salah is of two types. Either, so first of all, question, which salah can you combine? Which salah are you allowed to combine? Dhuhr and Asr and Maghrib and Isha. So it's either, so the two types are, it's either that you pray both Dhuhr and Asr at the time of Dhuhr, or you pray Maghrib and Isha at the time of Maghrib. That's the first type, and that is called Jam'u al-Taqdeem, meaning to bring forward. You bring the second salah forward. You bring it to the time of the salah before it. So you pray Dhuhr and Asr at the time of Asr. And the second type is Jam'u al-Ta'khir, which is the salah where you pray Dhuhr and Asr at the time of Asr. Is that clear? Yeah? And each of those, for you to be able to do that, it has its conditions. Each of those, it has conditions. And that's what we're going to go through now. The first one, for the conditions of Jam' al-Taqdeem. شروط جمع التقديم أربعة. The conditions of combining salah and bringing the salah forward. Meaning, if I want to combine Dhuhr and Asr, and I want to pray at the time of Dhuhr, what are the conditions for me to do this? There are 4 conditions. The first one is al-bada'tu bil-ula, that you start with the first one. You pray Dhuhr before you pray Asr. You don't pray Asr first, to keep the order of the salah. The second one is waniyatu al-jam'i fiha, and to have the intention of combining it in the salah. When you're praying, to have the intention that you're going to combine the salah. Number 3, wal-muwalatu baynahuma. What does muwalat mean? We've come across this word before. Zakariya, do you know? Mujahid? Close. Tartib is order. Muwalat? No? It's to do in quick succession, so that there's not a gap between the two salahs. So there's not a gap between the two salah. Mujahid, can you show them what page we're on? Okay. Let me see. It's a good book. I've done this. Oh, it goes this way. Here. 37 in your book. So we said the conditions of combining and bringing the salah forward is 4. The first one is to start with the first salah. The second one is to have the intention of combining. The third one is to have quick succession between the two salahs. So to pray Dhuhr and straight then you pray Asr. And the last one is wadawamul udhri, and for the reason that you're combining, to continue throughout the salah. For the reason that you're combining the salah, to continue throughout the salah. So you might think, what are the reasons to combine salah? The first one is, this is not in the book by the way, the first one is that you're traveling. Is one of the reasons to combine salah. And when are you considered to be a traveler? Is when you leave the city that you intend to go to a destination that's more than 48 miles away. That is when you're considered a traveler and you can combine prayers. Or that there's heavy rain. So for example, we're praying in the masjid at the time of Dhuhr, and the Imam decides that because there's heavy rain and it will be hard for people to go home and then come back for Asr, in that situation we can combine the prayers. And what does that mean? That for the time of the prayer, that excuse of rain, the rain should continue to be heavy for the time of the prayer. So the reason should continue. And the third reason is in sickness, that you can't pray both at their time. Okay, a sickness where you can't pray both at the time is another reason for you to combine the prayer. So we went through the 4 reasons that someone would combine and bring the salah forward. Meaning they will pray Dhuhr and Asr at the time of when? At the time of Dhuhr. Or they can pray Maghrib and Isha at the time of Maghrib. Sah? So that is Jam'u Taqdeem, bringing the salah forward. Then what are the conditions for Jam'u Ta'khir? This combining of salah is where you pray Dhuhr and Asr but at the time of when? Asr. So you're delaying the salah. Okay? So you're putting the salah that you were going to pray at the time of Asr, at the time of Dhuhr, you move it to the time of Asr. And then what are the conditions for you to do this? شروط جمع التأخير اثنان. There's only 2 conditions. أنية التأخير وقد بقي من وقت الأولى ما يسعها. That you have the intention that you're going to delay at the time of the first salah where you had enough time to pray it. Why? Okay, so it's like saying I wake up at the time of Dhuhr, right? I wake up at the time of Dhuhr and I say that now for whatever reason I'm going to delay the salah to the time of Asr. I'm not going to pray Dhuhr in its time, I'm going to pray at the time of Asr from one of the reasons that we mentioned. Okay? I have to have made that intention at the time of Dhuhr, saying that yes, I'm going to delay and combine my salah at the time of Asr. Why is this important? Because imagine I woke up after the time of Dhuhr has ended. I can't now say that I'm going to combine my salah, Dhuhr and Asr at the time of Asr. Why? Because what really and truly what happened was I missed the salah at the time of Dhuhr and now I'm telling myself I'm going to combine. No. That salah that you've prayed and combined is considered, that Dhuhr salah you've combined is considered to be qada. You've made up a salah. Not that you've prayed correctly where you were able to delay and you delayed to the time of Asr. Does that make sense? So the first condition is to have the intention to delay at the time of the first salah. At the time of the first salah when you had enough time to pray it. Sah? And then the second one is وَدَوَامُ الْعُذْرِ إِلَى تَمَامِ الثَّانِيَةِ, and the reason to continue until the end of the second salah. Until the end of the second salah. Now, very important, these 2 chapters are not talking about how, if you can shorten your salah or not. It's talking about just combining salah, praying 2 salah at one time. So now, what we're going to go through is, what are the conditions for me to be able to combine salah? To shorten salah, sorry. When can I shorten salah? Okay, the first, it says, فصل في شروط القصر. قصر is shortening. شروط القصر 7. And what is qasr? Qasr is, okay, let's go back. Which salah can I combine? Which one am I allowed to combine? Asr and Dhuhr, that's one. And then Maghrib and Isha. Okay? That's clear. Which salah am I allowed to shorten? Dhuhr, Asr and Isha. You can't shorten what salah? Maghrib and Fajr, you can't shorten. So one of the conditions we're going to come to is that shortening is only for the salah that has 4 rak'ahs. Okay? So Dhuhr, Asr and Isha. Okay? The first condition is أن يكون سفره مرحلتين. For the journey that you're taking, for your travel to be the length of marhalatain. What does that mean? Marhalatain is a unit of measurement, and it's also said that this is equivalent to the length of, for example, a horse. One horse walking quickly, and then until that horse tires out, then another horse, then another horse, then another horse. So 4 horses walking quickly until they tire out. This makes no sense to you, right? So in terms of what we know today, it's around 48 miles. 48 miles. Or 84 kilometers, close to that. So the journey that you're taking has to be above 48 miles of 84 kilometers. If the journey is shorter than that, you're not allowed to shorten the salah. Clear? Yeah? So that's the first condition. وَأَنْ يَكُونَ مُبَاحًا. And the second condition is that the journey you're taking has to be a journey that is permissible. So the ability to shorten isn't given to you unless the journey you're taking is permissible. So now, for example, if I'm taking a journey, saying that I'm going to take a journey in Ramadan specifically, just so I don't have to fast in Ramadan, right? That journey, I wouldn't be allowed to shorten my salah. Why? Because is that journey permissible? Because my intention was, I want to miss Ramadan. Does that make sense? Let's give another example. You're going to another country to commit sin. Your intention is to go there to commit sin to another country, right? Am I allowed to shorten that salah? No. Okay? That's the second condition. The third condition is وَالْعِلْمُ بِجَوَازِ الْقَصْرِ. To know that shortening is allowed for you. To know that you're allowed to shorten. So if you don't know you're allowed to shorten, and you shorten, is that salah correct? No, right? You don't know you're allowed to shorten and you shorten anyway. An example of that, you might think, how does that happen? An example of that is you're traveling and you don't know whether you're allowed to shorten or not, but you see everyone else doing it, so you do it. You don't know whether you're allowed or not, but you just followed everyone else. You wouldn't be allowed to shorten in that situation. Why? Because you didn't come with this condition to know that it's allowed for you to shorten. The next one is وَنِيَّةُ الْقَصْرِ عِنْدَ الْإِحْرَامِ, is to have the intention of shortening when you're starting the salah. To know that it's not like, for example, you start the salah and you're on the second raka'ah and you say, I'm tired, so I'm going to shorten the salah. It doesn't work like that. You have to have it when you're starting the salah. So how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. The next one, number 5, وَأَن تَكُونَ الصَّلَاةُ رُبَاعِيَّةً. The salah has to be of 4 rak'ahs. We mentioned this already. That it has to be of 4 rak'ahs. So Dhuhr, Asr and Isha. وَدَوَامُ السَّفْرِ إِلَى تَمَامِهَا. And for you to still be in a state of traveling إِلَى تَمَامِهَا, until the end of the salah. So in the middle of your salah, you can't become a resident. What does that mean? When you enter the city. So as soon as you enter into Heathrow, or you've come from holiday and you land at Heathrow, you're no longer a traveler, right? You're no longer a traveler. So you're in the city, so you can't shorten the salah. Okay, you have to pray completely. And this one's very important. Very important. وَأَلَّا يَقْتَدِيَ بِمُتِمٍّ فِي جُزْءٍ مِّن صَلَاتِهِ. And you cannot follow, if you're shortening salah, if you're shortening your salah, you know you're allowed to shorten and you've come with all the conditions and you're on a travel, you can't follow anyone that is completing their salah, that are praying all 4 rak'at. You're not allowed to follow them. If you are going to follow them, you complete it with them. You complete the 4 rak'at with them. So you can't follow them. Can someone that is traveling and shortening their salah lead someone that is completing their salah? No. Who says no? 1, 2, 3, 4. Who says yes? One person. Why?
What if the person completing just make up for the remaining?
Okay, that's a good idea. What about you? Yes or no? You changed. You changed your answer.
I understand what you're saying, I'm not sure now.
You're not sure, hey? What about you? Why?
So in the prayer for rakah, you have to pray for rakah with them. You can't end the prayer.
So what about the person? Say I'm a traveler, and I go to, say for example, you live in another country. I come to you. Can I lead you even though you're going to pray full rakat, even though I'm going to shorten?
No, because it was me valid on them. Or they could make up the rakah afterwards.
Yeah, so they can. So the answer is yes, you can. You can lead someone, but this condition is saying you can't follow someone. You can't follow someone that is completing their salah if you're shortening. Does that make sense? Can you lead someone? Yes. What do? You pray your two, and the rest of the people, they make up what they were going to make up. صح؟ سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.